One cricket tour turned a Caribbean dream into a nightmare that ended everything. Junior Murray's cricket story is one that breaks your heart. Here was a man from Grenada, a tiny island in the Caribbean with just 100,000 people, who somehow made it to play for the famous West Indies cricket team. This wasn't just any team. This was the squad that once ruled world cricket. But when Murray got his chance, things went terribly wrong. Murray was born on January 20th, 1968, when cricket was still king in the Caribbean. Growing up, he watched the great West Indies players on television and dreamed of wearing that maroon cap. His island had never produced an international cricketer before. The pressure was huge, but so was the dream. When he first started keeping wicket in local matches, nobody knew he would become both a hero and a tragedy. His early years in domestic cricket were rough, really rough. Playing for the Windward Islands in the Red Stripe Cup, Murray faced some of the greatest fast bowlers who ever lived. Teams like Barbados still had Joel Garner and Malcolm Marshall, legends who could bowl at 90 miles per hour and hit a coin from 22 yards away. For a young wicket-keeper from a small island, this was like being thrown into a lion's den. From 1987 to 1991, Murray struggled badly. The newspapers barely mentioned his name except to point out his mistakes. Other players got praise, contracts, and opportunities. Murray got criticism and doubt. Many people thought he would never make it beyond domestic cricket. His wicket-keeping looked awkward and his batting was inconsistent. Cricket fans in the Caribbean had seen many promising players fade away, and Murray looked like he might be another one. Then something amazing happened in the 1991-92 season. Murray suddenly started scoring runs like never before. His average shot up to nearly 48 for the Windward Islands. Boundaries flowed from his bat. Bowlers who had dominated him before now looked ordinary. It was like watching a different player altogether. The critics who had written him off were suddenly paying attention. However, even during this great run, people still questioned his wicket-keeping skills. This amazing batting form got Murray selected for the West Indies tour of Australia in 1992-93. The regular wicket-keeper, David Williams, had been playing poorly in the first two tests. Murray finally got his chance at the Sydney Cricket Ground. What a debut it was to watch. He was keeping wicket while Brian Lara played one of the greatest innings in cricket history. Murray had the best seat in the house to watch genius at work. The fourth test at Adelaide was where Murray really proved himself. The pitch was getting worse and worse, making batting extremely difficult. Most players struggled to score runs, but Murray fought hard and scored 49 crucial runs in the first innings. These weren't flashy runs with big hits and fancy shots. This was pure determination and skill when his team needed it most. Those 49 runs helped win a thrilling match that could have gone either way. But Murray's real breakthrough came during the tours of India and New Zealand in 1994-95. In Mumbai, facing India's world-famous spin bowlers, Murray played beautifully, even though the West Indies lost the match. Everyone was talking about how well Murray had batted against spin bowling. He moved his feet perfectly, picked the different types of spin, and played shots all around the ground. It was impressive. Cricket from someone still learning at international level. Then came Wellington, New Zealand, and the day that changed Murray's life forever. At Basin Reserve, the New Zealand fast bowlers looked helpless against Murray's batting. Every shot he played found the gap between fielders. Every stroke was perfectly timed. When he reached his century, it felt like the West Indies had finally found their new star wicket-keeper-batsman. Murray celebrated with pure joy and emotion. Here was a man from a tiny island, proving to the world that dreams really could come true. That century made Murray famous across the Caribbean. Young boys started copying his batting style. Cricket commentators praised his technique. Fans began believing that maybe, just maybe, the West Indies could return to their glory days. Murray had given them hope when they desperately needed it. For a brief moment, everything seemed possible. But cricket is a cruel game that can destroy confidence in an instant. Murray's wicket-keeping skills were still not good enough for international cricket. Too many catches were dropped. Too many chances were missed. Other talented players like Courtney Brown were waiting for their opportunity. Murray's place in the team was never really secure, no matter how well he batted sometimes. The 1995 series against Australia showed Murray's biggest weakness. Glenn McGrath, one of the greatest fast bowlers ever, figured out exactly how to get Murray out. Match after match, McGrath would bowl the ball just outside the off stump, and Murray would try to hit it. Every time, the ball would take the edge of his bat and fly straight to the fielders in the slip area. It became so predictable that fans started expecting it. This technical problem was serious. Murray's footwork wasn't right. His bat came down at the wrong angle. Most importantly, he couldn't decide which balls to hit and which balls to leave alone. Great batsmen know when to attack and when to be patient. Murray seemed to struggle with this basic skill when under pressure from good bowling. When Courtney Brown replaced Murray for the final test against Australia in Jamaica, everyone knew Murray was in trouble. His position as first-choice wicket-keeper was no longer safe. The tour of England that followed saw Murray and Brown competing for the same spot in the team. But Murray's batting form had disappeared. Since his century in New Zealand, he had scored only 150 in many attempts. For a wicket-keeper who was picked mainly for his batting, this was very worrying. The cricket selectors kept giving Murray chances longer than many people expected. Maybe they hoped he would find his form again. Maybe they remembered how good he could be on his day. But international cricket doesn't wait for anyone to find their form. Opposition teams study videos, find weaknesses, and attack them without mercy. Murray's problems outside the off stump were now well known to bowlers around the world. Then came the tour that would end Murray's international career, South Africa in 1998-99. This wasn't just any cricket team. South Africa had one of the most dangerous fast bowling attacks in world cricket. Alan Donald, Sean Pollock, and their teammates were bowling at extreme pace with perfect accuracy. They had destroyed batting teams all over the world. They had studied Murray's technique and knew exactly how to get him out. What happened to Murray in South Africa was complete destruction. Every technical flaw he had was exposed without mercy. His footwork collapsed. His decision-making fell apart. His confidence disappeared completely. It wasn't just that he got out cheaply. It was how he got out that was so damaging. The same problems that had troubled him before were now being exploited by an entire bowling attack working together perfectly. Behind the stumps, Murray's wicket-keeping also fell apart. The pressure of failing with the bat seemed to affect his work with the gloves. Easy catches were dropped. Simple chances were missed. The confidence that had once made him a viable international player vanished like morning mist. Every mistake made the next one more likely. The South African pace bowlers didn't just dismiss Murray, they completely exposed the technical problems that had been hidden by occasional good performances. His inability to defend properly, his failure to leave balls outside off stump alone, and his lack of a reliable method against fast bowling were all displayed for the cricket world to see. It was like watching a player being taken apart piece by piece. The bowling attack was relentless. They bowled ball after ball in the area where Murray was weakest. They never let up the pressure. They never gave him easy runs to build confidence. Every over was a test that Murray failed. By the end of the tour, his international career was effectively over, even though the official announcement wouldn't come for a while. When Murray was finally dropped after the South Africa tour, it surprised many people who remembered his century against New Zealand and his fighting performances against Australia and India. But cricket experts weren't shocked at all. They had seen the technical problems developing over time. The South African pace attack had simply been the final examination that Murray couldn't pass. The cricket world moved on quickly, as it always does. New players emerged with their own stories and dreams. Murray's name started to fade from newspapers and conversations. His surprise comeback for one test against India in 2002 felt more like a farewell gift than a serious attempt to restart his career. By then, 4 years had passed since his last international match, and cricket had moved. forward without him. Looking back at what destroyed Murray's career, several things combined to create the perfect storm. The technical problems were real and serious, but they might have been fixed with better coaching and more patient development. The West Indies. Cricket system in the 1990s wasn't good at helping players overcome their weaknesses, like modern systems might be able to do. The timing of Murray's career was also unlucky. He played when the West Indies were going through their worst period ever, changing from the greatest cricket team in history to a struggling group trying to find their way. The pressure to replace the legendary Jeffrey Dujon was enormous, and Murray was probably never capable of handling such huge expectations. Murray, quote, story also shows the bigger problems in Caribbean cricket development at that time. The systems for finding and developing young talent were breaking down just as he was coming through. Players who might have succeeded in earlier times with better support and more careful development found themselves exposed at international level without proper preparation. Today, quote, view of Murray's career is more understanding than the harsh criticism he received at the time. Modern cricket analysts know better how technical problems develop and how they can be fixed with proper coaching. Murray's natural talent was obvious. His century against New Zealand proved he could perform at the highest level. The sad part is that the support systems weren't there to help him overcome his limitations. Murray, quote, legacy isn't just about one player failing. It's about what happens when raw talent meets inadequate support systems. He represented hope for Caribbean cricket. Fans who were watching their team's greatness slip away. When he succeeded, it felt like the good times might return. When he failed, it reminded everyone that West Indies cricket was in serious trouble. The story of Junior Murray reminds us that cricket careers can change on the smallest details. A few technical improvements, better coaching at the right moments, or simply playing in a different era might have completely changed his story. Instead, he became a warning about wasted potential and the harsh realities of professional sport. His life after cricket has been quiet, away from the attention that once followed his every move. The book he wrote, Win Ball to Windies, told his side of a career that promised everything but delivered heartbreak. For cricket fans of that time, Murray represents what could have been, a symbol of hope that was ultimately crushed by the demanding nature of international cricket. The South Africa tour of 1998 to 99 didn't just end Murray's career, it destroyed the dreams of an entire generation of Caribbean cricket fans who had seen in him a glimpse of their glorious past and hope for their future. See how one brutal tour destroyed a cricket legend's career for Eve.